everybody. We're going to call to order the annual meeting first.
Bergstrom?
Yes.
Barrett?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Vansickle?
Yes.
All right, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second?
Taylor?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Vansickle?
Yes.
Bergstrom?
Yes.
Barrett?
Yes. Okay, so first, depositories.
Just where we keep our money. We have to officially prove how much we'll have where. Maximum.
I will make that motion, the Vision Bank and Iowa School Joint Investment Trust and UNB Bank as official depositories. I will second.
Taylor?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Vansickle?
Yes.
Bergstrom?
Yes.
Barrett?
Yes. All right, appointment of legal counsel.
We've used all our own committee for years. We're satisfied with their service.
I'll make a motion to approve ours and committee. Second.
Taylor?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Vansickle?
Yes.
Bergstrom?
Yes.
Barrett?
Yes. Official publication.
It makes sense, probably to use the Ogden Reporter.
So moved. Second.
Taylor?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Vansickle?
Yes.
Bergstrom?
Yes.
Barrett?
Yes. Now we've got to set officially the date and time and location of the meeting, and I think we were going to go ahead and have a discussion about this, if that's okay. Joshua, did you want to start with some
Yeah, I
remarks?
just wanted to have a deeper conversation with the board about the most effective date and time to be able to conduct the board's work in front of the community. Upon thinking about this, I think that it would be what's the best interest and time for the board members so that it is working in your busy schedules. And also knowing that we have a number of employees that are required to be at these meetings too. And we are a small school system that also requires some of us to be in multiple places at multiple different times. So just trying to think about that and also be cognizant of that balance of work and family as well. I thought an initial recommendation would be to continue to stay on the second Monday of every month, but move it from 6:30 to 6 o'clock. That 30 minutes, it seems insignificant. However, with young families and just other things that are going on, varsity events, etc., I think it could actually make a big impact for us to be able to conduct the business that needs to be done, as well as either go to other events and or to be able to balance that personal life. So my initial thought would be is conduct exactly what we've been doing, but instead of 6:30, move it to 6 o'clock.
Anybody have some thoughts about that? You okay with that?
I'll make the motion. Change it to 6.
Okay.
I'll
Do I have a
second.
second? Thank you. Thank you.
Taylor?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Vansickle?
Yes.
Bergstrom?
Yes.
Barrett?
Yes. Okay, annual policy review.
Every year, there are certain policies that need to be reviewed by the board, and those are outlined in the board packet that Melissa provided for you.
I don't think there was anything earth-shattering. Did anybody have any issues with anything there?
I'll make a motion to approve first and final reading of the above policies.
Second.
Taylor?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Vansickle?
Yes.
Bergstrom?
Yes.
Barrett?
Yes. Mileage reimbursement rate.
Yeah, if you look right now, our current rate is 50 cents, and that's what was posted in your board as a recommendation would be to maintain it at 50 cents. If you look at the IRS reimbursement rate, it is a little bit higher. I think we want to be fair to our employees that use their own personal vehicles, but we also we want to incentivize using our personal vehicles and taking them out. So I think the 50 cents is reasonable with the understanding that we are strongly encouraging our employees to check out our vans, Suburbans, etc. When needed.
I'll second.
Taylor?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Vansickle?
Yes.
Bergstrom?
Yes.
Barrett?
Yes. Okay, I think that concludes our annual business, so we can go ahead and take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Second.
Taylor, Thompson,
Yes.
Van Sickle,
Yes.
Bergstrom,
Yes.
Merritt.
Yes. All right, since the Vikings play at 7:15, let's move right on to the regular meeting.
You mean the Bears?
We need the Bears. Gotcha.
Bergstrom,
Yes.
Merritt,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Van Sickle.
Yes.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Thompson,
Yes.
Van Sickle,
Yes.
Bergstrom,
Yes.
Taylor, Merritt.
Yes. All right, we've got some celebrations. I think, are we throwing it over to Reed for
Yeah,
that?
if we could. So 3 times a year, I ask our activities director, Reed Smith, to come. And the spring and summer were successful for us. And we just want to make sure that we are recognizing our students for their contributions and representing Ogden. So Reed is here today to summarize the spring-summer activities.
Yep, absolutely. Had a very successful spring and summer season, both with athletics, but then also with music and arts and a lot of the activities that we provide here in Ogden. So there's a lot to be proud of. So tonight I'm going to highlight a lot of the individual student successes, but then those ultimately contribute to our team successes and our school successes as well. So starting off in the spring, the golf team, the girls golf team had 3 members that received second team all conference honors. Those members were Olivia Coleman, Laurel Schlenker, and Maddie Ellis. The track and field team, they had several state qualifiers and broke several school records over the course of the spring as well. We had a long jump state qualifier who was actually a state champion, setting a school record in that event in Tatum Graydon. A high jumper in Samantha Lass, who finished 3rd at state and also set a school record in that event. Our girls distance medley relay placed 7th at state, also setting a school record. Members on that team were Brianna Wenger, Sydney King, Samantha Lass, and Dakota Jones. Our girls shuttle hurdle team placed 7th place at state, also setting a school record in that event. Members of that team were Aubrey Leonard, Elena Wilson, Hazel Fredrickson, and Tatum Graydon. Our girls 4x100 meter relay team placed 10th place at state, also another school record in that event. Members of that team were Aubrey Leonard, Sydney King, Brianna Wenger, and Tatum Graydon. Our girls sprint medley relay team placed 13th at state, setting another school record. Members of that team were Tatum Graydon, Brianna Wenger, Sydney King, and Samantha Lass. Our girls 4x400 meter relay team placed 15th place at state, setting yet another school record in that event. Members of that team were Brianna Wenger, Sydney King, Dakota Jones, and Samantha Lass. For the boys track team, we had a qualifier in the 3,200 meter run, placing 9th, and that was Jude Bembo. We had a qualifier in the 800 meter run, placing 14th place, which was Brady Van Sickle. And then rounding out the track season for state qualifiers, our boys 4x800 meter relay team finished 17th place at state. Members of that team were Brady Van Sickle, Miles Tremblay, Thomas Bergstrom, and Jude Benbow. We also had a successful group and individual speech season. Members that qualified for state group speech were Lily Joseph and Mirica Taylor for musical theater, and Mirica Taylor, Lydia Longhorn, and Katie Brelsford for acting. For the individual state speech season, we also had some state qualifiers. Lily Joseph, Katie Brelsford, and Maddie Ellis for solo musical theater. Eliza Knoll for interpretive prose, I believe that is. And Glenda Moody for storytelling, and then Jack Downey and Lola Fredrickson for acting, which rounds out our spring season. Over the summer, had several individual honors as well. The baseball team, Tanner Roy was nominated as a first team all conference catcher, as well as a first team all district catcher. And then we also had Colson Carson, who was awarded a second team all conference pitcher and a second team all district first baseman. Finally, for the summer season, had some individual awards for the softball team as well. We had a first team all-conference outfielder and all-district player, Brianna Wenger, a first team all-conference infield player, all-district, and all-state player in Aubrey Leonard. She also set school records in stolen bases in a season and most runs scored in a career. We had a second team all-conference infielder in Sophie Seligman. And with us here tonight is Katie Wilcoxon. She was nominated and awarded the first team all-conference pitcher.
Okay.
A lot of success, a lot to be proud of in our spring and summer sports, and excited for another school year. And a lot of our activities are definitely underway and seeing a lot of success at the fall so far already. So thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Reed.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, before we go into principals reports, we have another celebration. The state of Iowa really wanted to focus on recognizing students. I'm going to hand it to you. Recognizing students that are doing extremely well with mathematics. It is a very select group, and we do have a Ogden elementary student that hit that standard. I'm going to hand it over to Amy so she can share a little bit more.
Sounds good. Well, Malia Dutcher is here with her mom and dad, Jenna and Joel. And I think if you asked her teachers last year in math and her teacher this year, Malia just kind of soars with being a critical and flexible thinker with math and really likes to dig in and be challenged in the area of math. So we received word that she was a nominee for the National Math Star for the state of Iowa. And there are over 35,000 third graders last year in the state of Iowa, and she was in the top 2%. So she scored in the top 700 across the state of Iowa, virtually getting 100% in the math area of ISAS. So wanted to celebrate her and give her her medal that she received from the state.
I know. I feel like that is so good. Congratulations, Malia. That is awesome.
Sorry, we have mission Mondays.
Yeah.
Oh, there. Julie. When Mr. Hire.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I have my photo of it. All right. You're good.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So, again, quite the accomplishment between our activities for the summer as well as spring, and then basically getting a perfect score on the math assessment and being in the top 2% is quite an accomplishment. So a lot of reasons to celebrate.
Very cool.
Next would be principals reports. Let's go ahead and give that to Amy.
So it's crazy to think that it's already September and that school is underway. We keep thinking that the elementary things just seem to have a really smooth start. We didn't have a lot of new staff, so we're able to just pick up from the end of last year and keep going. We had a great balance when we think about the in-service between having some district professional development, a great speaker to really get us kicked off in a motivational way. Mr. Hire led some work at our building, and then also just some building work with teachers leading some professional development. So just really excited to dig in with this year's theme and keep going, thinking about how we can ensure that all of our students are growing this year. We welcome back and had our back to school conferences and tried something new with pictures, which we received really positive feedback about that once we had things kind of up and running to get pictures done right away, and held conferences for 99% of our students on that first day back. So parents really value, and we know that they're taking time out of their busy schedules to come during the day or in the evening, but just a great opportunity for teachers to meet students, get to know a little bit about them, and it really helps them on that first day of school that kids kind of know where they're going for their classroom and just able to jump in and get started. preschool joined us a week later, so they started last week, and just a great group of students joining. We started a new drop-off and pickup procedure to just really kind of think through some additional safety, and that's been successful. But they're up and running and doing a great job after week 1. We're super excited. We started this year morning Bulldog Spark, so we have different people coming to greet our students in the morning. So we've had, I think the varsity coaches have been amazing here in the fall where they've come with their teams. So we've had the football team, the volleyball team, the cross country team. People's Bank was with us. We have family starting next week. But it's really great to see how excited kids are. And we actually didn't have a greeter this morning, and that was the first thing. They're like, where? No, this is out front for us. So the kids are excited when they get out to see who's going to be there to give them a high five, and just starts the day with just a really positive amount of energy as kids are coming in. 5th grades had the opportunity to go on a field trip already, so we are invited each year to go on a Boone County farm tour, and that took place in Boone this year. But students have an opportunity to go through 10 different stations for about 15 minutes and learn all different components around agriculture. And I always am excited to hear I think a lot of our students enter into that field trip knowing a lot based on maybe some family work around their home or from their parents. But I'm always excited to hear the facts that they learn or questions that they have once they return and things they want to continue learning about. And they get to meet some students from other schools around Boone County. So it's a really positive experience for them to be able to go on. Both buildings started their fall screening for FastBridge, so really getting an understanding of where all of our students are entering for both literacy and math, and then being able to really target instruction, whether students need some extensions from that or need some scaffolding or some reteaching. But it's always exciting to have some of that data come back in, so we know how we can really provide support for all of our students. Thank you to Ms. Levicki, brought over her FCCLA group and provided breakfast for us, the staff, once last week, and it's always just fun to see the staff really enjoying past students making them breakfast and just taking time to interact. But I think that's an example of how much the secondary building has really partnered to support the elementary, both staff and students, and we just really appreciate those partnerships. And just probably the last thing is just unless you're there every day, you don't see just how I think staff are just diving in to really support students, and you're walking around listening to the work that they're doing, and they're leaving tired after the first couple of weeks, but they're really digging in and doing great things, not only for one another, but for the kids in the building. So really appreciative of everyone and their roles, just off to a positive start.
Awesome, thanks.
I'll copy what she said. We are off to a great start at the middle school, high school. I'm really pleased with our pre-service meetings. We added some new staff on both the classified and the teachers, and I think they've been the perfect fit for our building. I've had conversations with each of them often. I think they're really happy to be where they are, and we're happy to have them. Last year we did, as a district initiative, we worked on the happiness advantage. Our ILT wants to continue that so it becomes part of our whirlwind. And so we made commitments last year within the happiness advantage. One of mine was to engage in more social events outside of school activities. And so my wife and I hosted back to school evening for all of our staff at the middle school, high school. It started at 7, about 6:45. I told Andre, I said, there may be 4 people that show up, or there may be 40. And it was standing room only upstairs, spilling down into the basement. It was just fun to take that Saturday before we had kids in the building and just kind of talk non-school things. We spent 3 full days talking school items just to kind of enjoy each other's company. So the kitchen was full of food and people had a great time. And so really excited to see that. The ILT is going to help me in implementing other happiness advantage items throughout the year to try to keep that going as part of the whirlwind, like I said, because we value the importance that we saw from last year. We have homecoming coming up soon in a couple of weeks, and so with homecoming, there's a lot of activities, a lot of planning and prepping. We made a minor change to how we are doing our homecoming homes. If you remember from last year, we had people that were willing to sign up and be a house that was toilet paper in the community. We're changing that a little bit. We've already had a really great response. We have more people that are signed up than we were able to have last year. So again, trying to foster some of those traditions, but also make sure that we're doing it in a way that respects the community. And last year we had a meeting with all of the students, and Chief Bailey and I kind of set expectations. We're going to have that meeting again. I think we're going to take another step in the right direction for that. But that's an exciting time coming up for homecoming. I'm asking a lot of our staff this year, so we're taking a couple of new initiatives. Specifically, we are working on our vertical alignment within our curriculums, so that we are working 6-12 as a department, making sure that we understand what our essential standards are at each level, to make sure that we're teaching them to the right depth of knowledge, and then have appropriate assessments. Each of our departments are in different stages in terms of where they are in that process, but they've really started off well. And then also, we are revamping / building our MTSS models, or multi-tiered system of supports, where we are helping students that maybe need additional assistance in reading, math, and also behaviors. So we've developed 4 teams: a reading team, a math team, middle school behavior, high school behavior. Their first real meeting starts next Wednesday at our early out, kind of set the stage for what the identification process looks like and how can we help assist our students. Asking a lot of our staff, but they've been very supportive so far. And then, like Amy said, we're finishing up Fast Bridge. We finished reading late last week, and we're doing math early this week. We have our first data meeting tomorrow for ELA, and then we have our math data meeting on Friday. And really just using all 3 of our data that we're collecting for Fast Bridge, along with our vertical alignment teams and our MTSS, kind of working together to make sure that we are making sure that all students within our school are growing. So a lot going on, but excited about the start.
Sounds good. Anybody have any comments or questions for them?
I sense that the keynote speaker that gave the first day would be as well received as how I thought it.
He was great. I had a lot of staff members said that that was the perfect start.
Yeah.
It was a great message.
Good choice.
Thank you. Yeah, he's BJ Smith came in and did a keynote for us and did a fantastic job. So for any of you that have not read his book or have a desire to read his book, I have some copies and I'd be glad to loan those out to you. Pretty inspirational message.
Awesome. Okay, let's move on to the consent agenda. Looks like we've got a lot of personnel hires there. That's a good thing. Anybody have any issues with that?
The only thing I want to point out is we have 7 certified employees that are continuing their education and moving over lanes. And I think we're talking about, and I'll reference this a little bit more later, but we're talking about growth. And when we have adults in the building organization that are modeling that professional love for learning and willing to do that, I think that's something that is very important. So I really wanted to highlight that in the consent agenda, that we do have 7 certified employees that are moving over a lane this year, which is great.
So, what's the reason for the equipment release of bus 13?
Well, new bus is here.
We have a new bus. So yeah, if you guys remember last year, probably 6 to 9 months ago, you approved the recommendation for a new bus. We received that a little bit early. Everything is here. It was delivered first week of school. But we have it, and with that, now we can release a older piece of equipment.
It'll be exciting.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Thompson,
Yes.
Van Sickle,
Yes.
Bergstrom,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yeah.
Merritt.
Yes. Looks like we've got a couple extra fundraisers there.
Yeah, in August, we want to do our best to try and bring just a stack of fundraisers, and these were just, for whatever reason, missed on our initial approval. So these are some fundraisers that would like to happen throughout the school year, and we've captured some of those. Some of those will be right away here at the fall, and some of those are later on in the school year. But nonetheless, we wanted to present those to you tonight so that you guys are aware of what our fundraisers requests are for the school year.
I'll make a motion to approve the fundraising request.
Second.
Thompson,
Yes.
Van Sickle,
Yes.
Bergstrom,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yeah.
Merritt.
Yes. Okay, bus routes. I'm gonna let you, Mr. Heyer, explain what this is
Absolutely.
about, if you don't mind.
So Iowa Code establishes expectations, laws, and requirements that we need to follow. And one of them, they really start to talk about transportation, when you're going to transport a kid, when you won't transport a child, in reference to how many miles they are away. And they really outline the practices that we need to follow. The one that I want to specifically talk about, it talks about the length of a route. And in Iowa Code, it says for an elementary student, it should not exceed 60 minutes after they leave the attendance center to when the last student is dropped off. And then for middle school, high school students, it says 75 minutes. In Iowa Code, it allows you the ability to add 15 minutes if the board views that is warranted. But it requires a public hearing and then a actual motion by the board. With our routes right now and the length of miles that we are actually covering, additional ridership, etc., we are not able to be in compliance by meeting that 60-minute threshold. So we need another 15 minutes in order to be in compliance. So I think we need to establish a hearing first and foremost, and then the board needs to have the conversation of, do you want the additional 15 minutes, which would go 75 minutes for elementary, 90 minutes for middle school, high school. I want to know the way that we do our routes, we don't distinguish the difference between elementary, middle school, high school. We really actually have the same buses pick all kids up and send them out. So all kids really need to be off the bus by the time I am saying 3:05. That is when our buses leave the elementary. The reality is they circle to the high school. So we don't even really start our routes until 3:10, 3:12. But we're saying 3:05. It would be 4:05 right now. That's really tight. We're not meeting that. So ideally, a 15-minute addition would be 4:20. So I wanted to just share with you that right now we are not in compliance and we need to do something to get in compliance.
Okay, so tonight we won't be discussing or taking action. We are just needing to set a public hearing in order to take comments from the public and then discuss and make a decision. So if somebody would be willing to make a motion for the public hearing.
I'll move to set a public hearing on the proposed extension of bus routes by 15 minutes on October 13th, 2025 at 6.
Second.
Thompson,
Yes.
Van Sickle,
Yes.
Bergstrom,
Yes.
Taylor, Merritt.
Yes. Okay, on to our site survey with Bishop Engineering.
Yeah.
So throw it back to you again.
Yeah, so we've had conversations, and last year, FRK is the architect that we use. They actually recommended Bishop Engineering. And one of the areas that we've discussed is our traffic flow, overall safety at this campus, number of parking spots when we have events. And they started to do some concept work for us. In order for them to be able to move things forward, if we were to want to do that, they need to actually be able to get a comprehensive site survey of our campus. So what you have in your packet is not a full approval of it. It is just giving the ability to be able to survey to find out if their concept design works, and then we can actually present to you guys and say, yes, this is the design we're going to do, and this is when we're going to do the work. If we don't do this critical step now, it really limits our ability of moving the ball down the court, if you will. So I think it's imperative that if this is a project that we would like to do in the near future, as early as next summer, we really need to probably get the site survey work done so that you guys have the information you need to be able to make that decision if we are to do that.
Yeah, judging from our work session, I would imagine that we're all okay with that.
I'm okay.
The only question I had on it was, see, the lighting plan for the parking lot is not included in this proposal for planning or for the site survey. I'm sure that's fine because FRK knows what they're doing. Just want to make sure that's covered
Yeah.
in the process somewhere.
Great question. I'm glad you mentioned that. I specifically talked to James, and he said that included in that proposal, the 11,000 would be private location. And he also said that when they come in and do that comprehensive work, the reality is everything is going to be disconnected because they're going to tear it all up and put new electrical in.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. So you can kind of design it how you want.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yes, if I'm understanding what you're saying, the location of the lighting right now, they will do it's a private, so they will do that, but also it doesn't really matter because they're gonna tear all of those lights up and put them new in whenever we get that design.
Yeah. But the only question I would have, which I'm sure they will do in their site survey, is knowing where they're getting power from. That way we're not breaking up concrete to put in electrical lines after the fact. That was the only hiccup I could possibly see, but I'm sure they have that figured out, but it's what's fair to find.
I will verify with James from Bishop tomorrow, and on my weekly update, I'll give you guys the information. So I'll clarify that.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, if that's outside of that, it's the next step in the process.
Yeah, agree. So tonight I think we're authorizing that 11.5 to go ahead and move forward with the site survey. Correct?
That's all we're doing. Yep.
Just real quick about the topo survey. Are they gonna come out and GPS everything themselves? Or some people, when they get in trouble when they do this, they'll just do some topo from some other source.
I will find out. I don't have that answer, but I will find out if they are going to do a topography of our actual or if they're going to use something that's already been generated.
That's exactly what I was trying to say in English.
I'll make the motion to approve the site survey project for 11,500. Bishop Engineering.
Second. Earl got it. Thompson.
Yes.
Van Sickle.
Yes.
Bergstrom.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Merritt.
Yes. Nobody. Okie dokie. Board calendar. Nothing really big on there, right? We did all of that. Wonderful.
There will be, October 1st, we'll start really working on some certified enrollment. Preliminary numbers, I would say that we are about where we were last year, if not maybe down, but I think if we are down, it's going to be single digits, whereas last year we saw a larger dip. I'm thinking that we're going to be hopefully neutral on that. If not, we might be down just slightly. So more to come on that. To just give you an initial update. We're 2 weeks into school and kind of wanted to see what our enrollment numbers are. And I think that's about where we're going to be. Okay. Superintendent comments?
What's that?
Yeah, so House File 706, I'm not sure if board members have been aware of that, but really ultimately it talks about new elected officials need to go through training for open meetings and Iowa laws. So this would be potentially applicable if we have new board members at the November election. But some board members in school boards are actually having the conversation of should all board members go through the training. So I just wanted to be able to present that to you tonight. And there are some options. IASB, Iowa Association of School Board, has actually put together a online self-paced course that you can go ahead and do on your own. They've relabeled it, but the BoardCon, which is ISB's national, or not national, but annual conference, if you attend this and go to their final closing session, that would also count as going through and receiving the training. And then I received an email last week that Allers and Cooney's is actually put together, that's our legal counsel, they have also put together a webinar for people to go through if that is something you're interested in. So in order for us to be within the law, if we were to have turnover of the board, moving forward, those new elected officials will need to go through the training. I just wanted to be able to inform some schools are saying all people should have that as a baseline, and wanted to see where you guys were at.
Anybody have any thoughts about that? I mean, it is a good thing to do. I mean,
I anticipate it would probably be a 1 to 2 hour commitment for you to receive that. This last legislative session, they did adjust, and if there are found a failure to follow open meetings, there are significant fines, and those fines are not paid for by the school. It is by the elected official that was found to be in violation. So I just want to make sure that you guys are equipped and have the information you need. Not that we're doing anything wrong, it's simply I want to create awareness so that we are fully aware. And if we're asking, if there was to be turnover of the board, we're asking new people to go through the training. I just think it's appropriate as other team members to have that same equal information.
I wouldn't be opposed to doing that.
yeah, and so many things that we do go back to that one law to, I mean, even the way we now, I mean, your review even is changed now because of that. And like, we have to be cognizant of the text messages we send one another and, I mean, emails and all, I mean, there's so many things that we maybe don't think about that we maybe don't even still to this minute know about that probably would be good for everybody to. So I think maybe just an encouragement for anyone staying on the board to do that.
That was one of my best classes I took on one of the breakout sessions at the annual convention.
Yeah.
The first year or two on board.
And really just to protect yourself, like Joshua said.
So if you guys are okay with it, what I can do is for the three that are not up for election, I can go ahead and give you guys a couple options. The Allers and Cooney's webinar, a recorded one, and you guys can go ahead and complete that training. And I think it's appropriate just to kind of weigh it and find out, where you guys are at, as well as what election results are. And then we can go ahead and go from there, if that's okay.
Sounds great.
Okay. I will go ahead and proceed and give you guys some options, the three of you, and then I'll just pause for you two.
Sounds fair.
Okay. Other than that, I just want to tell you, I feel like we've had a great start of the school year. Amy, would you mind standing up and being my model? Show your shirt.
Yes.
Good for you. So if you see that shirt, Ogden Community Schools, we choose to go to the moon. Really what that's referencing is in the early 60s, President Kennedy stood up and really talked about going to the moon, and it was something that was a wild, crazy, audacious goal. Something
I remember that.
Well, I read about it. And ultimately, what we wanted to do is we wanted to establish that we are all going to be working in one common goal and direction. And I think that when you hear the principals' reports, they talk about some of the actions that they're doing. We're all really ultimately trying to grow our students. So I think there's some intentionality, and I think that because we have really narrowed our focus and everybody is doing the same thing, I think that it really provides some clarity, and hopefully we're able to accomplish that goal of going to the moon. So we're off to a great start. I'm excited about the work that we're doing, and I'm anxiously awaiting the results that we're going to see. That's all I have.
All right, awesome. Anybody have anything to add before we adjourn?
The CAR is certified.
That is a big step. Nice work. So.
Did you have one out?
No, those are something else.
Nosy.
They were on TV. I don't know how noisy that is.
Yeah. If you want to see our school safety procedure, sure.
Oh, okay, cool.
You can go home and take it.
It is actually very nice. That looks great.
Shall I look at it here?
Yes.
Could you give me a motion while you look?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I will second it.
Thompson,
Yes.
Van Sickle,
Yes.
Bergstrom,
Yes.
Taylor, Merritt.
Yes.